Welcome back, everybody. Today I'm here to talk about Fear the Walking Dead Season 5, Episode 4, because they just dropped the opening minutes, and they also gave us 3 sneak peeks, so that's awesome. So we're going to go through all of those stuff and break it down for you guys. So with that being said, let's get started. Alright, so Episode 4, we're halfway through the first half of Season 5, and Episode 3 was pretty good. We got Dwight back in there. Daniel is going to be in this episode, which I'm excited for. And hopefully things started to get, picking up with the CRM and stuff. But that being said, we're going to start off by talking about the opening minutes, which I really liked because I was curious about how Daniel got to where he got and what, Daniel's been up to. And the opening minutes is pretty much like a day in the life of Daniel. We see him getting ready, and then he goes out with Skid Mark, and we also see this in the episode. We see the date. It says October 12th, which it's pretty cool because we never really know what day it is on The Walking Dead, so that's really cool how he's been keeping track, so we know that it's October 12th on The Walking Dead. I don't know why, I just think that's pretty cool. And then he goes to this warehouse to scavenge, and like I said, it's like a day in the life of Daniel. And I still want to know how he got the plane and all that kind of stuff, because it's like a one-man show here. He's all by himself, so I just want to know how he got all this. It's pretty cool. And then somebody also set up this trap inside of this store, which when he opens the door, it starts firing. I don't know who would do that. I mean, that's, obviously that's going to take some time to do that, so maybe it has some sort of meaning. Maybe there's somebody behind that. It kind of reminds me of a little bit of Breaking Bad, the series finale, when the hood of the car popped up and then the gun started firing. It kind of reminded me of that for some reason. But this trap, obviously whoever set this up didn't want people to get in there. But obviously Daniel got through it because he just moved it aside, and then he just got a bunch of materials like we can see here. And then after that, he pulls out this map, and he says 3 more traps to check. So obviously he's been making his way around, the entire city or even state. I don't know how far he's gone out, but he's been going through a lot of places collecting stuff. Now, I'm kind of curious as to what his motivation is, because like we see later on, and we saw in the other episode, that he's not really willing to, he doesn't really want to help that much other people. He doesn't want to help Strand, and he kind of sent him on his way. So I am curious as to what his goal and what his motivation is. Is he just collecting this stuff for no reason? Because it's a zombie apocalypse and people need stuff. So, I mean, again, we'll see what he's really doing, but I just kind of find it weird how he's on his own and he's taking pretty much everything. Because after that, he goes back home, and it kind of just a little bit of a showcase of all his stuff. Look at all his guns he has here, and then he just goes and makes himself a dinner. So, just like I mentioned before, it's a day in the life of Daniel. And I'm actually pretty glad they did this, because I am curious as to how he got all this stuff. I mean, I guess it's pretty obvious that he's just been scavenging, but now it looks like it's pretty much been his life, for the last couple months. He just been every single day just going and scavenging all this stuff. So, and I'm sure he's gonna come back around and help the group and help them get to their friends, because the next 2 sneak peeks, which we're gonna talk about, have to do with the airplane and the group trying to get back to Alicia by trying to steal Strand's airplane. So the first sneak peek, we have Charlie trying to sneak in and look around the area. And we have a Skid Mark kind of, coming across her. And in the synopsis for this episode, it said Charlie makes a friend. I think the friend is going to be Skid Mark. I don't think, for a second I was thinking is there going to be a new character or what, but it most likely isn't. It's probably just going to be Skid Mark. But then she hears Daniel, so she runs and gets inside of his car, and I kind of like this. I like this. It's a little bit them trying to steal a plane. It's going to be I just want to see how this goes. I think it's going to be pretty fun to see them try to steal a plane from Daniel. But yeah, she runs inside of the car and just hides, and then Daniel walks in and starts putting his stuff in there, and she's pretty much stuck in there, and she says, "I'm inside of the car," and Strand says get out of there, and that's kind of where the sneak peek ends off. It's a real quick sneak peek. And then in the next sneak peek, it's daytime, so either they were unsuccessful at night or they waited to the morning. Maybe they were trying to retrieve Charlie. Well, I mean, actually Charlie isn't in this sneak peek, so and Daniel is on the road here. So maybe she's still in the back of the car, which would be pretty funny. And that friend they said that Charlie's making, maybe that's Daniel. Maybe Daniel and her bond. And maybe, she would be the person that, helps them get the plane because she bonded with Daniel and something like that. But it does look like she's still behind the car, and the group is trying to steal the airplane in the morning. But Daniel's smart, and he knows that the group is trying to steal his stuff. Because obviously, first of all, Strand asked him in the episode, but he left a note here saying, "I already said no, channel 8." So Strand calls the channel on the radio, and as you can see here, Daniel's on the road, and he says that I'm not home, don't worry, but if I come back and you guys are still there, I'll make sure I keep on my promise. So it seems like he is a bit stubborn. I don't know what's it gonna take for him to help. Again, it could be the Charlie thing, because I do think by the end of this episode they're gonna get back to the group, because in the trailer we saw Morgan and Alicia, they're like on the ground, and we saw like leaves and stuff flying all around them. Something like an airplane is kind of landing down would cause that. So I do think by the end of this episode they will be successful, and it probably just gonna be like, if I had to guess on it, I'd probably say that Daniel just says okay after maybe having a conversation with one of them, possibly Charlie, since she's in the car with him. So the next sneak peek has to do with Lucy and Dylan, and Dylan asked Lucy about the Little Prince, because that was the book this book is pretty important, because we saw last season how the book helped Charlie. Like, Charlie was part of the bad people, and then she joined their side. So the same thing could happen with Dylan, as we know based on the end of episode 3 that it's the kids that are setting up the walker traps, which was a pretty good twist, honestly. I didn't expect it. Like, in terms of that, like, it was a twist I didn't see coming. I don't know how it's gonna play into the bigger picture, like who are these people connected to? Are they helping the CRM? Like, what's up with Logan? Because it has been a couple episodes and we haven't seen Logan or the CRM or anything, which I hope we do. It's kind of been focusing on these kids, so obviously they're important. But in this sneak peek, Dylan and Lucy, they have a conversation about the Little Prince. And same thing going back to last season with Charlie. I could see Dylan joining the good side here after this conversation, or after reading the book and spending time with these guys, because we do know he's on his own. And then Max and Annie were setting up another walker trap. Annie seems to be like the manipulator in the group, she's always like telling the guys what to do, and she keeps asking like, don't be scared, you don't have to be scared, like we saw that at the end of last episode to Max. So we'll see. Dylan is young. He's probably just doing like what his sister is telling him to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ends up helping them, or like maybe confronting his sister and saying, these guys are good people, why don't we help them? Something like that along those lines. I don't really see these kids being like full on villains, and then they end up just leaving like that. I do think they're gonna end up joining the good side. And I think there's more where these kids came from. I think this community that they came from probably has a lot of kids in it. And it might be the CRM, because if you go back and watch the season 5 official trailer, 4 episodes in, there's a lot of scenes in there that we still haven't seen yet, and it kind of plays into part like what we are going to be expecting for the rest of season 5, or at least the first half, because obviously those Walking Dead trailers only have the first couple episodes. I know The Walking Dead has the first 6 episodes in the trailers. I don't know about Fear the Walking Dead. It probably is going to be the same thing. There's no reason why it would be any more or less. And in that trailer, there's more kids that we see besides Annie, Max, and Dylan. So I do think you're part of a community that has more kids. Now, when it comes to why these 3 are the ones setting up the roadblocks, it might be because they're forced to do it. Because going back to the episode where they were clearing out the roadblocks, remember Lucy said that it's forming a perimeter. So if it's forming a perimeter, it's all around them. They're kind of being enclosed inside of it. And whatever group is outside of it, and it might be the CRM base. That's what I'm guessing. You guys let me know in the comments down below. Who do you think these kids, like what group do you think these kids are part of? I think they're part of the CRM. If they are part of the CRM, maybe the leader or whoever is forcing these kids to just go do it, and they really have no choice because they have to. Maybe it's their parents or something, and maybe that's why it's these 3 kids that are setting up the roadblocks, because they want to trap these guys in it. So that's what I kind of see happening. And if these kids are being forced to do this by either their parents or the CRM or whatever, I can definitely see them joining the good guys and helping Alicia and Lucy and them, because I mean, even at the end of the sneak peek, we have Dylan here helping Lucy. Like Dylan said, I'll go help you and go get the electrical tape. So he's being helpful, and I think this Little Prince, the book, obviously is gonna come into play, and just like you know basic logic, like if these kids aren't just pure evil for no reason, I feel like they're part of a community that may be up to no good, and their job is to go maybe they said, hey, your guys' job is to go block these guys and set up these roadblocks because we need them for whatever reason. So I think they are gonna end up being helpful and helping them and telling them about the CRM. You guys let me know in the comments down below, what do you think is up with these kids? But that is the 3 sneak peeks you got and the opening minutes for Fear the Walking Dead Season 5 Episode 4. I am gonna wrap it up there, and hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. If you did, be sure to leave a like rating, and for more Walking Dead content just like this, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you guys later.